All right, let's go to the other side of the game. Kyle Shanahan, back-to-back comeback victories. So the question that we have is, did back-to-back comebacks change the way we view Kyle Shanahan and or Brock Purdy? Zach, Mike is yours.
Yeah, I mean, I got to say, Lil, like, I'm pretty impressed with Brock Purdy. And I understand that the thing for me, right, and the thing that has really frustrated me about the whole Brock Purdy conversation, going back to earlier in the season when, some people were crowning him as the MVP, is as good as he was playing, I never thought it was fair to compare him to some of the other top quarterbacks in the league, right? He was never Mahomes. He was never Josh Allen. He was never Lamar Jackson, right? He's not these guys. But it's also fair to acknowledge that even though he's not some elite quarterback, he also is good, and he's a clear upgrade over Jimmy Garoppolo, and he's proven over the course of the last 2 weeks that he's capable of making the big plays in the big moments and winning playoff games for this San Francisco 49er team. And we spoke about it last week with the Packer game. Like, he wasn't great throughout the game. He made some really bad mistakes early on, but in the second half, when the 49ers needed him the most, he came through, he delivered, and some of his plays and scrambling ability to just get out of the pass rush and find his guys. Had a beautiful throw to Kittle right near the sidelines. Found Juszczyk for another big gain after a big scramble, getting away from Aiden Hutchinson. Like, this guy has a clutch gene, man. Like, he is the real deal, and we got to give him a lot of credit. And he played a great second half. He was a big reason why San Francisco was able to come back and win this game. And we know the narrative. You brought it up, right? Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers, when they're facing deficits, especially double-digit ones in the fourth quarter, they're usually dead. It usually doesn't work out for them. And the fact that they've been able to do it each in the 2 times in each of the last 2 weeks in the playoffs, you have to be impressed, and you have to give this team a lot of credit. Just like Kansas City, they find ways to win. And again, this is a team, not necessarily Brock Purdy, but you could even say, like, he got knocked out of the NFC Championship game last year. You don't think he was thinking about that? As this game was going on, as he was making this comeback, this 49er team have had some devastating playoff losses to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, to the Rams in the NFC Championship game, blowing leads. And they were on the opposite end of it. And you got to give them credit. Detroit made their fair share of mistakes, sure, but they did a great job taking advantage of it. And I think this could be a win that really turns the tide for this 49er team. And as you said, the Super Bowl is a while away. We still have plenty of time to discuss our thoughts on the game, but I absolutely give San Francisco a legit chance to win because they've proven that they're never really out of the game, and Brock Purdy's a major reason why.
It's funny because I used to call Kyle Shanahan Mr. 28-3, but now it's looking like I got to call him 24/7. They came back from being down 24/7, open for business, sir. Yeah, I mean, maybe he is changing the narrative of how I view him because we know the narrative. He's not great. He hasn't done it in the era of him coaching this team, of coming back from deficits, entering the second half of the game or the fourth quarter. And he's done so back-to-back weeks in the playoffs, not regular season here, in the playoffs. So, yeah, I definitely give him credit for that. And even his coaching, he outcoached Ben Johnson, supposed to be one of the hot commodities. Obviously, he's coming back. By the way, we didn't mention that, but he is coming back to the Lions to coach that team next year. So that's big on the Lions behalf. So if there's any minor W that I can give y'all right now, because y'all botched this game, it will be the fact that you're retaining, your best top offensive coordinator in Ben Johnson. But as far as the play calls in this game, the Lions blew the game because of what? When they had the 24/7 lead, they passed the ball 20 times and ran the ball 7 times when they had that lead. Clock is your friend, not your enemy. It's your ally. But with Kyle Shanahan and his play calling and what he did, he had a more balanced approach. I believe they passed the ball 16 times and ran the ball 13 times. So he stuck with the running game. He stuck with his best player in CMC and helped his quarterback out more than what he did last week in those rainy conditions where his quarterback is struggling to even grip the football, and he goes away. He abandons the running game. All right, only 11 carries through 3 quarters, right? And then guess what? I talk about fourth quarter with Lamar. I talked about fourth quarter with Josh Allen. I talk about fourth quarter with Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was a difference. He came through in the fourth quarter, so it ties it together. So when you talk about Kyle Shanahan, he did a very good job in this game, actually helping his quarterback out with a much balanced approach and not putting the pressure on him to deliver like last week. And in Brock Purdy's case, both weeks when he was asked to do a lot or he was asked to manage the game and do more, he did it. You know, the improvisation. We're not going to mistake this cat for Lamar Jackson, right? But he ran for a first down on a third down that kept the drive moving. He found ways to make the plays to win the game. Now, how do we feel about Brock Purdy? We don't know, because I'm still trying to figure that out. Nobody knows who this cat is. Okay, is he the next Joe Flacco? Is he Kirk Cousins? Is he Tom Brady, a diamond in the rough? We don't know who this cat is. But all we know is that he's going to the Super Bowl, and he made plays to get his team there, and we have to give him credit for that. And we'll see what happens. I'll tell you one thing, Zach, in closing, in my lap, is that come the Super Bowl, these first half dubs got to go against the Chiefs. It got to go. You know, whatever you did in the first half against Green Bay or the Lions to get you in that deficit cannot happen against a team like the Chiefs. You will have to play how you played in the fourth quarter throughout the game to have a chance to win that Super Bowl.
I agree. And one thing I'll mention too, that another thing we know about Brock Purdy is every playoff game he started and finished, the 49ers have won. Like, you got to give him credit for that as well. And this was some comeback. You know, Detroit made the mistakes, but you got to give San Francisco credit that they took advantage. That's what the great teams do, right? And I have kind of been a little bit hesitant to buy into San Francisco over the course of the season, Purdy being a reason why. But there's no doubt, man. Like, I thought, I'm sure everyone did, they were dead in each of the last two games. And that's how you really, you know, change the narrative, change your opinions, is pulling off historic comebacks like that. You know, the 49ers, they're a team of very rich tradition. You know, they have 5 Super Bowls in their history. They've had Joe Montana and Steve Young, and they've had a lot of great playoff wins, but this has to be near the top, right? You know, down 24-7 at halftime and coming back in the third quarter like that. This team, just like the Chiefs, man, I know they haven't won a Super Bowl, but they have that championship DNA as well. They've been to a Super Bowl. They've won a lot of big playoff games, and they came up clutch when it mattered most.
They clutched up, and that's why they go into the Super Bowl.
Please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. You've been slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. All ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.